Hey guys, before we get into the video, I just want to say this is not the correct way to do this job. It's always best to do it the correct way. The correct way is going to be the best way to do it 99% of the time. Now there are exceptions where sometimes you can't do it the correct way, and this is one of those. Maybe you're in a place where you don't have the right tools for the job, maybe you don't have the time to get them, I don't know. I'm just assuming you're watching this video because you want to see an alternative way to do this job. Now in my case, these parts are not going to be reused, and this project isn't something that's valuable that I hold to high regard. I just need to replace these bushings for a functional purpose, and cosmetically I'm not too concerned what it looks like. So if you're okay with this, then stick around and I'll show you how I do it. Damn, isn't it mesmerising? That is kicking out a glorious amount of heat. But it's not why you're here today. You are here because you want to know how to remove bushings or bearings without a hydraulic press. I'm going to show you how. It only costs a chunk of skin from my hand, and it nearly cost me an eyeball. So if you're okay with those risks, then by all means, this is the method for you. Now the problem is with the press is, for most people it's never a necessary tool because for most people, general DIY jobs at home, they're never going to have to press more than one or two things. Maybe it's bearings or bushings in this case, and these are for a motorcycle swing arm. So if you have to press these parts, it's probably not viable to go and get yourself a press. You need a press for both removal and to press the new parts back into place. Although once the bushings are out, it is a lot easier to heat differentially the product of which you are trying to place the bushings and bearings, and then insert a colder, smaller bearing into a heated up, expanded piece of metal. Now the project in question is here. What I've been doing is using this socket to press the bushing into from out of here, and I've been using this cheap socket down here with a nut and bolt assembly to press the bushing out of the swing arm. That's a very simple way to do this. All you need to be mindful of is that you have a socket that A, you're not bothered about ruining, and B, you have to allow the bushing to press up inside of the socket. Now the socket itself is actually longer. You can see this one smaller impact socket is much longer than the swing arm itself, so there's plenty of space for that bushing to extend in there. What you do is you get yourself a bolt and you get yourself a washer to displace over the top of the where the socket sits, this 1/4 inch drive in this case, and you get yourself a cheap socket on the bottom that you're not bothered about, that's the same size as the bushing, so you're pressing up against the perimeter, and you tighten up this nut and bolt, and you watch that things don't slip, because this washer is inevitably going to bow downwards, which actually decreases the amount of surface area you can get on. And also a good spanner, like this is a King Dick, beautiful bit of kit, and make sure you get your spanner on there and you watch that it doesn't have a tendency to lift up, because that's when you have problems. Now this bushing is actually quite big for the size of bike I'm working on, but you get the gist. So what I'm going to do now is put that spanner on there, and I'm going to tighten differentially, of course, against here, and that is going to press the bushing into the socket. It's also worth noting that if you take yourself a 13mm socket on a ratchet, you can get better purchase on that top bolt. Now it's up to you whether you want to tighten the bottom or the top. I personally believe that tightening the top's better. Securing it with a spanner on there. You've also got the option, if you desire, of using a ring spanner just to get a bit more peace of mind that isn't going to slip off the bottom, because if it does slip off the bottom, well, I mean, for me it hit my hand, but you can also choose your rib cage, your face, your teeth, anything like that would not be good. So the pressed bushing is near enough out, and you may find that when you get towards the end, it may be too deep for the socket. So now you can see these impact sockets are great for doing the job up here, because you have a view hole here, so you can see how far that bushing's come up. and you can see when it's made contact with the top of the socket. Now it's worth noting, which I didn't take into consideration, that the top of the socket is actually not as far as you're going to be allowed to go, because you can see in there's a chunk of metal which is for reinforcing the socket and to hold the ratchet in. So it gets to this point. Now you want a nice long extension to use as a drift. You can see that pressing socket that went inside the swinging arm is the perfect size. Literally looks like it belongs there. So now all you need to do is come along with the tappy tap tap and give it a rat-a-tat, and it's going to think twice about wanting to stay in there. So as always, America's secret weapon, WD-40 in the hole, what she said, and then you bring your toy along. And when you are ready, the whole lot goes. It's that simple. If you're going to use this one, remember that it's not the correct method. The correct method is going to be the best method 99% of the time, but this might get you out of a bit of a pickle. Good luck, guys. Oh, and if you're really struggling, oh fuck. A little bit of hurt, a little bit heat, never hurt nobody.